Okay, let's talk about playing our five finger scale legato. Okay, and legato just means smoothly and connected. So we're going to take a look at our five finger scale and we'll start out in C position. Okay, playing finger 1 on C, 2 on D, 3 on E, 4 on F, 5 on G, and we'll come back down in the same way. And what we're focusing on is a couple things. Okay, we're going to focus on playing C and keeping C down until we get to D, and as we play D, we bring C up. Okay, and the same thing with D to E. As we play E, we let go of D. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, and you want to go as slow as you have to in order to accomplish this smooth and connected feel. Okay, so anyone can walk up to a piano and kind of just play any sort of note and play it staccato, meaning that it's its own note, it's not connected to anything else, right? Okay, it's just quickly played and quickly released, it's staccato. All right, but it really takes a true pianist in order to play from one note to the next and connect it smoothly. Okay, and then the next thing I want to focus on is that my fingers are all hovered over the keys. They're in that nice curved position. We have that natural curve happening, and our movement is really happening from our knuckles, our bottom knuckles here. Okay, the rest of our finger is pretty much staying in the same position. Okay, it's just our right up here that's moving, okay? But my fingers look the same, whether they're down here pressing the key down, okay, or whether they're up above the keys, okay? Keeps that same position, okay, that same natural curve. Okay, and notice how when I play, my fingers are not flying away, or tensing up. Okay, we want to avoid this, okay? If you find that that's happening, okay, then you need to slow down and really focus on disciplining your fingers, okay? I know discipline is kind of a boring word, okay? But I promise you this should not take any longer than just a few days. And it might take a week or two, but just go nice and slow. And if you really spend a good 5 minutes a day playing this five-finger scale, okay, then I think you will find that your fingers are beginning to develop the proper discipline. Why do we want the proper discipline? That's why. Is that when we speed things up, that our fingers will be there just hovered over the keys. So every finger that's called upon, okay, can be right there and ready to go. So if I'm kind of in the habit of my fingers flying up in the air, then I'll never really be able to speed up, okay? Maybe I can, but it's just gonna sound kind of choppy, okay? And it's gonna feel choppy. Why? Because my finger is all the way up here and it takes time to get that finger down to play the next key, okay? So speeding up will never really be something that I can do fluently, okay? But if I really train my fingers to just hover over the keys, then as I speed up, oh man, it's going to sound great. And there will be no issues, okay? It's going to sound great and it's going to feel great. And that's another important thing about playing our instrument. We want it to feel great too. We want to feel that satisfaction, okay? Same thing in the left hand, all right? Starting off on finger 5 on C, playing finger 4 on D, so on and so forth, okay? And I want my fingers to stay nice and that natural curve, hovered over the keys, ready to play. Okay, and just to keep it interesting, you can move this up. You can now move your five-finger scale up to D, okay, and start off on D. Okay, that way you're getting some different tones happening, and you're really just focusing on playing that nice and legato sound smooth and connected, one note to the next. And then your fingers keeping that nice natural curve as you play. Okay, let's play this to a beat, and we're at about a 60 tempo with just a regular 4/4 beat. So let's play each note for 2 beats apiece. We'll start out in our right hand. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's try it again. 3, 4, and C to D to E to F to G to F to E D to and C to. Let's try our left hand now. Here we go. 2, 2 and E to F, G to and F, E and C to. Let's move it up now in our right hand to D. D, E. Okay, again, we're just focusing on playing that legato smoothly and connected, keeping that natural curve in our fingers. Okay, up to E. Ready, and. Now to F. Ready, and. Now to G. Ready, and. Now to A. Ready, and. Now to B. Ready, and. Now to C. Ready, and. Now, let's try it with the left hand. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, starting on C, and. So D, 2, 3, and. So E, ready, and. Now to F, 2, 3, and. G, ready, and... A, 2, 3, and... Now to B, 2, 3, and... C, ready, and... Okay, so when you get comfortable with each hand individually, now it's time to combine both hands, okay? So we'll just run through a couple of those. So ready? C, 2, 3, and... We're playing these notes nice and together. Should sound like one note. Now to D, 2, 3, and... Now to E, 2, 3, and... We might as well just keep going. Now to F, 2, 3, and... G, 3, 4, and... A, 2, 3, 4, and... B, ready, and... And C, 2, 3, 4, and... Okay, so if you made it through that, then congratulations. This is probably about the amount of time that you want to spend on this each day for the next couple weeks, okay? In order to really get some good proper reflexes in your fingers, okay? In order to play legato smoothly and connected, in order to play both hands as one, sounding as one note, okay? Two notes sounding as one. And in order to really hone in on that rhythm and play very rhythmically solid, okay? If you spend this time for a a few days, a week, or two, all right, then this will be a really great setup for everything that comes next in your career as a pianist.